How's it going, Wizards fans? I'm Raj, and you're listening to the Bullets 2 Wizards podcast. As you can tell, I am by myself today because, funny story, my friend Sully, he went home for spring break, and he brought his microphone with him. But today, we were about to record an episode, and he tells me that he ended up leaving it at home. So, currently he's buying a new one, so he will be here for the next episode. But today, I'm just going to be doing this one solo. So the topics we are going to cover today are, just the last few games since our last episode. The bench players getting minutes like John Butler, Justin Champagnie. Honestly, his last name can be a bit confusing. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Is it like Champagnie? Champagnie, like the drink? Because I've heard announcers be like Justin Champagnie, and then some other announcers be like Justin Champagnie. And I know he has a brother on the Spurs. I don't remember his name, but first of all, I thought that's who we drafted because I remember when we versed the Spurs this year. I don't remember which game it was, but I remember some Champagnie was like scoring on us a lot, and I thought that's who we signed, but we ended up signing his brother instead. So Justin Champagnie, and I like him. He's been playing really good so far. And then Patrick Baldwin Jr., PBJ, and Jules Bernard, who is super underrated and not talked about in my opinion. So, after that, we will be covering Bilal sadly being out for the rest of the year in the Chicago game, and DeMar DeRozan, we'll get into that. And then lastly, we will be going over that random signing with Tristian Vucevic from the EuroLeague. So, before we get deep into the Wizards' recent play, let's say hi to our friend, the Wizards Cat. So, the general vibe of the last few games, I'm going to be honest, I haven't been watching the past few games. We had that little stretch of excitement where we beat the Hornets and the Heat back to back. I know a lot of us started feeling excited. It's like, oh, we're back, hang the banner, 2031 NBA champion, stuff like that. So it was a little exciting time for us, like 2 weeks ago, something like that. And I went to that Hornets game, actually. I was there. It was my last day of spring break. I went with my dad. And I went because I think that game might be my last Wizards game I'll go to before the season ends because, I don't know, I'll be here at college for most of the time. So, yeah. But, like, most of the Wizards fans and community out there, I would say we're all checked out. I mean, me personally, I checked out after we lost to the G League Grizzlies, the Memphis Hustle. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I mean, that game, there was absolutely no effort shown from the team. I mean, just defensively, our roster, nobody was injured, I don't think. At least we had key guys who score. Like Kuzma and Poole were there, Kispert was there. All those guys were there, but we still lost that game. I mean, Trey Jemison, we had him on a 10-day contract at the start of the season. He scored 24 points on us. Just another big guy that we could have had on this team if we paid more attention to him and played him. And G.G. Jackson, a second rounder that we also could have had. He scored 19 points on us. So, just all of these guys. I mean, I'm happy they're getting their opportunity. Good job to the Grizzlies for that. But just after that game, I'm checked out. I mean, I can tell that the guys are unserious now. And we're all waiting for the season to end. And just draft day to come as soon as possible. I mean, I'm really looking forward to draft day. It's just, like, we want to see what this new front office has in store for us for the future of this team. But I just want to say, I do watch the highlights and look at the box score after the game's end to see how our young guys did. Like, general vibe of the last few games has been same old. Like, give everyone minutes and see how they do. That's all it's been. And I can tell that even the players are checked out as well, especially Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. So the games that I'm going to be going over are just everything after that little 2-game win streak with Charlotte and Miami. So we beat Charlotte 112-100 with Kuzma scoring 28 and Avdia scoring 14. And then we beat Miami, surprisingly. I didn't watch that game, unfortunately, because I was on my way back to college. But when I came back, I looked at my phone and I saw a final Wizards beat the Miami Heat 110 to 108. I'm like, did we just beat the Miami Heat? And I look at the injury report. I'm like, Jimmy Butler was there. Bam Adebayo was there. Duncan Robinson was there. I mean, no Tyler Hero, but otherwise, that's like a game we shouldn't win, but we ended up winning. So I'm like, whoa, 2-game win streak. That's kind of something. We'll start hyping up a bit. And like 2031 NBA champs, hang the banner, stuff like that. I mean, Kuzma MVP, he scored 32 points. But then after that, Memphis, L, Houston, L, Chicago, L, Boston, L, and then today, the Houston Rockets, L. So the Memphis game, total disaster. It was a really depressing game to watch. The Wizards lost 109 to 97. Kuzma scored 24 points. And then the Houston Rockets, man, I didn't... See, this is where I stopped watching the games. I didn't watch any of the games past that Grizzlies game. Excuse me. But I'm looking here, we lost to the Houston Rockets 135 to 119 with Jordan Poole scoring 25 points. And the one thing I did see from this game is that Jalen Green, the Jalen Green clip of him dropping Jared Butler and staring at him and then shooting the three and then turning around and run away. That was so cold. Poor Jared Butler, man. I mean, everybody has seen that. I mean, my roommate, I was at the gym, he just spammed me with that clip. Like, he's just making fun of the Wizards. It was so funny to see. Like, I all love for Jared Butler, though. I mean, he's putting effort out there, but Jalen Green, man, we're going to come back to him today. And then Chicago, we lost to them, 127 to 98. The Chicago game, really sad day. Bilal Coulibaly out for the season. But we'll get into that later. And then the Boston Celtics, obvious L, 130 to 104. Poole point guard Poole scored 31. Pretty cool, casual. But who let Sam Hauser score 10 threes on us? Like, when I was looking back on the box score, I saw that Sam Hauser scored 10 threes. I'm like, what? Am I seeing this right? Is that Jason Tatum? Is that Jaylen Brown? No, it's Sam Hauser. I'm like, okay, yeah. Yeah, this team is checked out. And then today, the Houston Rockets, I didn't watch this game either, but the final score was 137 Houston, 114 Wizards. And looking at the box score today, I was pretty surprised. I mean, Justin Champagnie, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Hey, I mean, he shot 44% from the field. I mean, 33% from 3, but I did get the notification from the NBA app saying Justin Champagnie first quarter buzzer beater or something. So I clicked on it. It was just him shooting it from half court. I'm like, whoa. That's something like Jordan Poole should make. But no, that was just Champagnie. So it's cool. It's cool. I mean, he's a cool guy. I mean, I don't know much about him yet, but so far he's been balling. He's been proving himself. And I would love to have him for the rest of this season and next season as well. So we'll see what he got. Also, Jules Bernard. Nobody's talking about Jules Bernard. I don't know why. He shot 54% from the field. He scored 16 points. Shot 54% from the field, 60% from 3. He scored 3. He made 3 3-pointers and missed 5. So, Jules Bernard, this kid's a bucket. He got 4 assists, 2 rebounds. He did have a turnover. Oh no, he didn't have a turnover. Justin Champagnie had 2 turnovers and 3 personal fouls, but that's okay. Jules Bernard, certified bucket. Nobody's talking about him that much. I respect him, and I would also love to see him here for the rest of this season and next season. Anthony Gill, little 12 points. I mean, casual Anthony Gill stat. And then Jared Butler. I love Jared Butler. 15 points. I mean, he shot 36% from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. But he has a lot of potential. I mean, we've seen him in past games. He has that point guard potential. I mean, let Tyus walk. Let Tyus walk. Let Jules Bernard play in his. Not Jules Bernard. I keep getting those two mixed up. Jules Bernard, Jared Butler. I mean, they're the same like initials. Let Jared Butler be in the place of Tyus Jones. Like, let Tyus sit. Play Butler. Like, I know Tyus is injured right now, but if he does come back, still play Butler. But looking at the main guys, I mean, Corey Kispert, he had a solid 16, shot 54% from the field, 57% from three. Then a PBJ start, Patrick Baldwin Jr. scored 12 points, 44% from the field and 20% from three, shooting 1 for 5 from beyond the arc. Rashawn Holmes, casual Rashawn Holmes stat with 12 points, 9 rebounds. Johnny Davis got his first start of the season. And guess what, guys? Guess what? 1 for 7 from the field. 0 for 1 from beyond the arc. 14% from the field. 2 points. 1 rebound. Yeah. We'll get into Johnny Davis later. And then Jordan Poole, a little 13 points. I mean, he only shot 27% from the field and 33% from three. But a lot of the guys were injured today. I mean, Denny was injured, Bagley was injured, Bilal, Tyus, Kyle, Isaiah Livers, Amarui, Shamit, and then Vucevic. It says he's still not on the team yet. I would love to see him play, though, see what he's got in him. So that's all I got for the last few games. My thoughts on them. I mean, it's pretty obvious where this team is headed, or like what their mindset is at the moment. So moving on, the bench players getting time, like I said before, Jared Butler, Justin Champagnie, PBJ, and Jules Bernard. And right now, I mean, we've been dealing with a lot of injuries on the roster lately. Tyus Jones is still out, Bilal is out for the year, sadly. Denny is dealing with that knee. Marvin Bagley's still out, Landry Shamit's still out, Amarui is out as well. So we're dealing with a lot of injuries. Hypothetically, who should sit, and what would the lineup look like for the rest of the year? Well, at this point, Tyus Jones can sit out. I mean, he's probably going to walk. So I consider playing Jordan Poole at point guard. I mean, point guard Poole scored 31 the last game versus Celtics. I mean, see what he can do. See if he can raise his trade value a bit, you know? See if we can get him right with the ball in his hands. So looking at the 2 guard, obviously Bilal is out for the year, so I know how Johnny performed today, 2 points, 1 for 7, whatever. But I'm still looking at Johnny Davis. I mean, will they start him? We don't know. The whole story of Johnny Davis, and you know, it's just been a story all year long. But I would give him a chance and start him at the 2 guard. See what he can do. With this front office, I hope they don't think he'll be a piece we'll use in the future. I mean, I'm sure anyone doesn't want Johnny to stay. Like, I'm sorry, he needs to develop somewhere else. But I mean, I want him to play for not his spot in DC, if that makes sense. Like, I want him to play to see if any other teams will be interested in him. Like, any other teams that could use his talent, maybe develop him way better than we have, because the Wizards have failed him, man. It's really sad to see. He was a really good guy in Wisconsin. But we're a rebuilding team right now. I mean, worst team in the NBA, and in the running for the number 1 overall pick. It's either us or the Pistons. So at this point, why not? Moving on, I would put Corey Kispert on the wing for the rest of the year, barring any kind of injury. I mean, he can knock down that 3-point for you. He can cut to the basket, do all of that casual Corey Kispert things. And then Denny with his knee, I would sit him out for the rest of the season as well. I don't want anything else to happen to Denny. He has had a great breakout season, and I would love to see the same amount of effort next season as well. I would sit Kyle Kuzma. I don't know what the plan is for him. Is he going to walk next season? I'm not sure. Maybe we'll keep him next season, then trade him the season after that. I don't know. But I would put Poole at point. You know, I'll put Poole at point, Johnny at 2, Corey at 3. 4, I'll put Patrick Baldwin Jr. Why not? I mean, we have him. And then 5, Rashawn Holmes. And then I just want to sit Bagley. I mean, I just want to save him a bit. I mean, he's still young. I mean, he's not meant to play center. He didn't play center in Detroit, I don't think. But he's played that role pretty well here in Washington. So I don't want anything else to happen to him. I want him to just sit out. And then we'll see what happens to him as well. So looking at the second unit, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. The second unit, I'm going to let Jared Butler play backup point guard. I said that before. I need Jared Butler to play point guard. He's shown a lot of potential coming out of the G League. And seeing him now, I mean, he's efficiently scoring. It might not be the best percentages, but he has that PG potential. Not Paul George, point guard. And then Justin Champagnie again. I love that guy. So, right, at least at the moment, he would get a look. And I would also give our recent signing, Tristian Vucevic, a chance as well. I mean, see what he's got in him. And there's also Jules Bernard, the underrated guy, certified bucket, I like to call him. And I would say go with this rotation for the rest of the season and call it a day. I mean, see what you have and go from there. Because at this point, we're fighting for that number one pick. I mean, at this point, give the young guys an extended look. We don't know how. Also, Amarui, we don't know how long-term Amarui's injuries will be. So if he can come back, provide him some quality minutes as well. I mean, I said before in a previous episode, teams need a Eugene Amarui. Like, just, he's that hustle guy, that mentality guy. He's got that dog in him, like I said before. So, going back to Johnny Davis, I don't see a reason to not start him at the 2. Like, I know he's been but with how Justin Champagnie has been playing or performing, I think they might go with him. He's been playing well, but this is the time to play the young guys because, again, we're trash and we're not challenging for anything. So we might as well give them a chance and sit down some of these veterans. Just let Kuz sit, Denny sit, what is Ty still doing on this team? Landry Shamet, I don't know. Just, we're going to be the Grizzlies for the while. The G League hustle. I mean, the Memphis hustle. The Washington Wizards right now, what I hope for the rest of the season will be the Capital City Go-Go, if that makes sense. Just let them play. I mean, at this point, we need to evaluate them. See who we're keeping for next season. See who we're not keeping. Johnny Davis. And then, after that, move on, rebuild, move on, season after season, and eventually we'll get somewhere where we are a contender. But that starts here. Sit out the veterans, play the young guys. That's how it works. So, talking about young guys, Bilal. So, the news that hit me the hardest, I was reading, is that Bilal Coulibaly is out for the rest of the regular season after being diagnosed with a right wrist fracture. It suffered during the Chicago game when DeMar DeRozan bulldozed right into Bilal's body. Why did he do that? The Bulls were up 30, and I see Bilal trying to get a basket. Out of nowhere, I see DeMar running from the right. Bang! Hit Bilal. Bilal falls, fractures his wrist, and now he's out for the rest of the season just like that. DeMar. And they said they put you in the Hall of Fame conversations, huh? Yeah, no, you're probably not gonna make it. I hope you don't make it. How dare you hurt our rookie like that? Anyways, moving away from the DeMar hate, in the sake of development, and obviously we're in a rebuild, so development of the young guys is key. And this is a big hit. I mean, Bilal is the youngest guy on the team. One of the youngest guys in the NBA aside from Gigi Jackson. I'm obviously looking at Bilal and his ceiling. Like, I don't want this wrist fracture to bar him or just hold him back in any ways for the future. But we'll see. I mean, defensively, he's been on point. His steals, his blocks, just his overall presence from the defensive end has been key for this team. I mean, considering this team isn't very good at defense, obviously. I mean, between Bilal and Denny, they're pretty much our two best defenders. Now, we all knew coming out the draft, offensively, he was going to be very, very raw. And he still has a long way to go as far as being an offensive threat for other teams. And I'm sure some of you have noticed, but pre-All-Star break, Bilal can knock down those threes a little more efficient than he did post-All-Star break. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe Brian Keefe is running a different play for him, or maybe he lost some confidence or something. I'm not sure, but Bilal hasn't been knocking down the threes, but it's fine. I mean, he still has a long way to go as far as being an offensive threat, like I said before. I mean, sometimes I've even seen players leave him open to shoot the three knowing he will miss, which is sometimes hard to watch, but I mean, what we've seen so far, he's got the work ethic, and if you look at the fact that he's very, very young and he's still growing, I mean, he's 19 years old. I mean, I'm turning 19 years old in about 4 weeks. That's crazy. So he's still growing. I mean, there's a chance he can grow taller. Obviously, he will get bigger. I mean, like, we saw Giannis. Giannis came into the league scrawny. Now he's like some big bulldozer run and dunk guy. But he's still, I'm not saying Bilal will become Giannis, but he's still growing, is my point. And his wingspan can definitely grow as well. And I think he definitely will get better as time progresses. Nevertheless, this is still a big hit and hard news for any Wizards fan to hear. I love Mr. Be Cool. No, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that nickname yet. We need to come up with something else for Bilal. Be Cool isn't really that cool. Anyways, moving on from Bilal, last thing I got is that Tristian Vucevic signing. That random signing, I mean, it was super unexpected. None of us were expecting it. I mean, I got a notification from Woj saying the Washington Wizards are signing, or like the Washington Wizards are signing Tristian Vucevic. I mean, he agreed to sign a multi-year deal with the Wizards. Obviously, he had to be bought out from KK Partizan, his team in Serbia that he was playing in. Actually, the best team in the EuroLeague at the moment. And looking at some of his stats, he averages 10.9 points and 3.6 rebounds, while shooting 54% from the field and 44% from three. So obviously, we've been hurting at the center position. Like I said before, Trey Jemison bullied us. It was crazy during that Memphis game. And just any other Wizards game this season, just the center position has just been this whole thing. Like, Trey Jemison. I wish we gave Trey Jemison a chance. But anyways, looking at Vucevic, he's not much of a defender, I mean, but just having a body in there, somebody who's 7 feet and can sort of rebound the ball. And I know he's only averaging 3.6 rebounds in the EuroLeague, but hopefully in the NBA he can rebound the ball more. I mean, he's 7 feet. It's kind of what we're looking for, and this team needs just that. I mean, a guy who can stretch the floor. And for a Wizards team that mainly gets dominated by rebounds, obviously he's not going to solve that problem, but we have to see what we got in him. I mean, we don't have Daniel Gafford anymore. But hey, props to Daniel Gafford. He's balling out with Luka. I mean, he's balling out with Luka and Kyrie. And recently, I'm not sure if some of you guys saw, but he was about to break Wilt's record for like most points scored without missing, something like that. He was about to beat Wilt's record, but then he missed a shot. That's kind of crazy, though. I mean, I'm starting to think if we held back potential in him or whatever. But that's enough, Daniel Gafford. He's sadly not on the team anymore. But Tristian Vucevic, I mean, a guy who can stretch the floor, and for a Wizards team that mainly gets dominated by rebounds, he's not going to solve that problem. And he was a second-round pick. We picked him in the second round in the draft last year. Or this year. No, that was last year. Excuse me. And yeah, he was a second round pick, and we have many second round picks, at least for this draft. But at the same time, you look at guys who were drafted behind him. I mean, like I mentioned before, Gigi Jackson on the Grizzlies. He was available, who also dominated us that night with 19 points. He's also one of the younger guys in the league next to Bilal, also 19 years old. Props to him. He's balling out, making millions of dollars on a professional NBA team. Good looks to Gigi Jackson. Another example is Tracy Jackson Davis for the Warriors. I mean, some of you guys may have seen that clip of him just dunking, just posterizing Wembanyama. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, no, Tracy Jackson Davis for the Warriors has been playing really good basketball in the for a second round pick. And we could definitely use someone like Tracy Jackson Davis. But what I'm trying to say is that those guys are already making an impact on their teams. And I'm saying this not to put a lot of pressure on Vucevic. I don't expect him to be a Gigi Jackson or a Tracy Jackson Davis in his first year here. I mean, in the NBA. But there's guys who have already made an impact on their team, and there is a chance Tristan could be one of those guys, but we don't know. But not all the guys in the second round can make an impact as well and get solid minutes. Like, for example, Toumani Camara, he's played pretty well for the Blazers. Imani Bates is another example. I mean, he just got sent to the G League, and then some other guys have just been in the G League and whatnot. So not everybody has a great rookie season so far, but there's a couple of guys you can look at and be like, hey, we can use that type of development on our team. And I'm excited to see what Tristan can do here, though. I mean, he's a 7-foot tall big man who can stretch the floor. Defensively, excuse me, defensively, we don't expect much, but he can come in and give us hopefully around 8 to 10 points per game and give us also hopefully 6 to 7 rebounds. What I don't want to happen is for him to just be put in the G League. Like, we just don't have time for that. Like, something we've been doing. We just draft players, put them in the G League, leave them in the G League to rot. Well, not really rot. I mean, I guess they could develop there, but right now we don't have time for that. We're a rebuilding team. We got to see what they've got in him. They have to see what they got in him. Like, we can't just have Kuz and Denny playing center, just small ball center. Like, if you told me Denny Avdia was gonna be playing center like last season, I would have called you crazy. I would be like, oh, what about Kristaps Porzingis? What about Daniel Gafford, right? But no, we have Kyle Kuzma and Denny Avdia playing center. So obviously, it's going to take him time to adapt to the NBA. Like, I'm sure the pace of the games here are faster than the ones in the EuroLeague. And there are guys who are playing the 5 who can really, really move. Like, Bam Adebayo, that guy is huge. That guy moves like a truck. I don't know if a truck was a good example. I'm just saying, there are guys that can move, just centers that can move. And there's also like AD, Jaren Jackson Jr., and all those guys, Rudy Gobert. And I'm not saying Tristian Vucevic has to like be an Anthony Davis or Rudy Gobert or whatever, but he's going to have some adjusting to do. And that's honestly any player from the EuroLeague. I mean, Bilal had to adjust to the NBA, and he has experience playing just basketball in general. He's not just a rookie out of college. So, I mean, yeah, that's all I wanted to cover for today's episode. Kind of just the basis of what the Wizards team is and what it's going to be in a couple of seasons, where this team is headed. I don't know. I just want to get it. I need this season to just be done. I want the draft to just come as soon as possible. I mean, this draft, we have to hit in this draft. We have 2 first-round picks, a bunch of second-round picks, and these 2 first-round picks will determine our future. I mean, there's Zachary Reese-Shea, Alex Sarr, Nikola Topic, whatever. I mean, we have to hit. And the second first-round pick from, I'm pretty sure, Thunder, we might, I don't know. I haven't looked into the draft that much, but even, I know we're going to be tanking next season as well. I mean, maybe if not Alex Sarr, Cooper Flagg. There's been a lot of hype around Cooper Flagg recently, and he's about to play in Duke, his first college season, so if he lives up to the hype, we would probably be tanking for Cooper Flagg next season as well. So we just need to build this young core and build off of that. So that's all I wanted to say today. I mean, overall, just the last few games, bench players getting minutes, Bilal out for the year, and Tristian Vucevic is signing. So if you guys have any thoughts, just if you're watching on YouTube, just leave it in the comments below. But other than that, keep hitting those DC threes.